This is David Wheaton. The following is a short take from the Christian Worldview radio program. You can hear the full program at thechristianworldview.org. Is that an accurate observation that our legal system has become increasingly politically partisan? And what can be done about that now that there are judges populating all these courts around the country?
I think there's no question that the answer is yes. The famous statue of Lady Justice, she's blindfolded for a reason. It's not supposed to matter who the people are in front of you. And that's why judges, historically, the black robe that you see them wear is symbolic. They are covering up their own personal biases and personal predilections and personal views. Your program's called the Christian Worldview. I've told people for many years, you can't hide your world. That's impossible. And you can't fully remove yourself from it. But that's different than saying I'm going to impose it on others regardless of what the law requires. And that's the problem we face today. Now, there have been things written on this ad nauseum as to why that is. I think it's very simple. For one, we had 8 years of Obama and 4 years of a Biden administration that didn't hide the fact that they were after radical ideologues to fundamentally transform the government. Your listeners will remember the famous words of President Obama saying, well, I want to fundamentally transform America. One of the ways he went about doing that was stacking the judiciary with radical ideologues who he knew would issue the decisions of the type we're seeing today. The Democrats never miss with their judges. The Republicans frequently do, where we're told, yeah, this guy's he's very conservative. He's going to apply the law as it's written. He's an originalist or a textualist or a constitutionalist, depending on your particular bent. But this guy's going to call balls and strikes. That's what John Roberts said in his nomination hearing for Chief Justice. That's what the law and the judge is supposed to be. And it's neutral. We call balls and strikes. You add water and stir. The facts come in, the law comes in, we add water, we stir, and what's supposed to come out is a neutral application of the law and fairness, coupled with due process and all the rest of it. We don't see that now. And the reason we don't see that was intentional. So you have an Article 3 federal judge in the District of Columbia, the nation's capital, who was adjudicating a case concerning President Trump's transgender military order, prohibiting individuals who have a mental illness, which is what the diagnostic manual says it is, saying we probably don't want those guys defending the homeland. I think that's fair. I think most reasonable people would say that. You have an Article 3 judge in the District of Columbia, the nation's capital, who says that's not even based in reality. Your notion that there's only two genders isn't real. Now, going back to the history of the world and the creation of time, that's always been true. But now you can be a judge. You don't even have to be some radical professor. You would always hear that from radical gender studies professors. You could go to the Ivy Leagues and hear that probably for the last 20 years. I never thought you would hear that in an open hearing by a federal judge chastising the Article 2 executive. The reason it's partisan is because those who don't hold the Christian worldview, as your program is called, wanted a judiciary stacked with a bunch of people who not only don't hold the Christian worldview, but are ideologically and radically opposed to it. And that's why we see these things here. Now, there are some on the conservative spectrum who I have legitimate concerns and opposition to sometimes. But I think by and large, the vast majority of them want to see what the law says and what the facts say, and they reach the conclusion. I don't think the same can be said of a lot of the Democratic appointees, and that was by design.
This has been a short take from the Christian Worldview radio program. To hear the full program and connect with this nonprofit radio ministry, go to thechristianworldview.org. I'm David Wheaton.